Hi guys, it's Nicole from the Hudson Area Public Library, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do some canvas art. Now this program, or this take and make or take home project, is available in a kit at the library. So if you're watching this in the summer of 2021, you can actually go to the library and pick up a little kit that will have most of the supplies that you need to do this project. So this is one that I did just to try it out. It kind of looks like that. So we're going to be using masking tape, masking off part of the canvas, and then just painting and creating and having fun. So this is kind of what we're going to try to make. Obviously, you can do whatever you want, however. So in your kit, you're going to get a paintbrush. You are going to get some paint, a little thing, and then you will get the canvas. So those three things will come in your kit. Other things that you will need to supply from home are, let me get them, masking tape to mask off part of your canvas if that's what you want to do with yours. Another good thing to have is some measuring spoons. So if you want to actually mix some paints to make a different color, measuring spoons work really well because they're flat on the bottom, they stay, and they're small. So you can just mix up a little bit of paint because you really don't need much on these little small canvases. Other things that are good to have are paper towels. I use a lot of paper towels. It's a good thing to have. And another thing to have too to start would be a little glass of water to wash off your brush in between colors if you want. So a few other things that you'll need, but I'll show those to you as we get started here. And I'll go through the steps that I use to make my canvas art. And then I will let you guys just go ahead and create whatever you want. If you do the canvas art, do pick up the kit and do the canvas art. I would love it if you would post down below a picture of what you made. Number one, because I'm really excited to see what you guys make, and number two, it helps us to know who did the project, and so we can count how many people did it. So we're glad you're here, and we'll get started. Bye. Okay guys, we are back. Just wanted to show you a couple more things that I have on hand that I use to make this example canvas. Some things that you can also use to make cool shapes and stuff like that. So on this one, you can see that I've got some different circles, and I used things like the pencil tip. So that was a pencil tip around here. I have a bamboo skewer that you can see I've used a lot. So that also made dots. I think it made these little dots. And then I used the end to do the little dots. I have a cap. Whoops. That I used, well, not this one, but I had another cap that I used to make the bigger circles. I also use a lot of Q-tips when I paint. And the great thing is you can take them and put some paint on them and flatten them, like I did this one. I don't know if you can see that. And that also makes really cool dots. You can also take off the cotton part of it and then use that to make dots. And I might have used that to make a couple of these too. So Q-tips are very helpful. And also toothpicks make great little dots. They're also really good for mixing paint, scooping out paint, if you're gonna put some paint in here to make a different color and so forth. Other things that I've got here, a fork. And I'm thinking about using this on my new one. I thought maybe I'd dip it in two different colors and just maybe like, you know, drag it along the canvas and just kind of see what I make. So there's some other tools that I use. In your guys' paint kits, you're going to have the primary colors. So you're going to have yellow and red and blue, and then some white and some black. The middle color will be different depending on what kit you have, but you do have the primary color, so you can mix up any color that you want. So this one, or the one I have here, has teal. This one looks like it's got some brown as its other color, but I'm really liking that teal. So I think when I was trying to think of what I wanted to do, I think what I'm going to do is kind of tape up some windows, and I'm going to use my red and my white, and I'm going to mix up some pink paint. I'm going to start with maybe dark pink and get lighter pink as I go up in my different windows that I'll tape off with my tape. And then I'm going to use the teal, and maybe I'll dip the fork into the teal and maybe some white, and I'll do some like cool swirly things. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm going to start by taping off the canvas first, and I'll kind of show you when I get that step done what it looks like and what I did. One thing I would like to mention when you start to tape is to make sure that you really press down the tape once you get it on so that you don't bleed. So like in this one, can you see how crisp those lines are? Sometimes if you don't get the tape down really, really good, you will get a little, I've got a little tiny bit, but you'll get some bleeding and the line won't be as sharp and defined. And if you want to do the tape, you want your edges to be really sharp. So that's just something to know as you get going. So I'm going to tape mine up and I'll show you when I'm done, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay guys, so I've got my tape down. Hope you can kind of see it. It's white on white, so it might be kind of hard to see. But I've kind of just laid tape down where I thought it would look kind of cool, kind of maybe like stained glass. Once I got my tape on, I took the bottom of my measuring spoons that I'm going to use, and I just ran it over, pressed kind of firmly on the tape, and ran over all the lines everywhere. Again, that's to make sure that we don't have any bleeding of our paint underneath the tape, and so we end up with a really crisp edge. So I went and did all that. You can see too that some places I doubled the tape, some places I cut the tape. So you can go ahead and do that with your tape too. Another thing too is you want to make sure that you use masking tape or painter's tape or something like that, because although we do want it to stick, we don't want to use anything that's so sticky that when we go to pull it up that we take off the canvas and kind of ruin our thing. So make sure that you have some kind of painter's tape, or even regular masking tape works fine. So once I did that with the spoon and I went all over like that, I took my bamboo skewer, took the end of it, and I just went over these places like this where the tape overlapped, and just kind of went through and just made sure that all of those surfaces are stuck to the canvas, and I'm not going to have, hopefully, any bleeding through my painting, because I like the lines to be really crisp and really defined. If you don't, then you don't have to do this. And if you don't use the masking tape, obviously you don't have to do this. But for the one I'm thinking about doing, I'm going to do that. Takes a little while, but it's really worth it to help that paint come out. Okay. So I've got this all ready to go. So now I'm deciding, got to kind of do a little planning and decide what you want to do. And I think I'm going to stick with my plan. I'm going to use the white, or the white and the red, and mix them together and make a pink. And I think I'll start with a darker pink down here. So I'll paint each of these colors, maybe a darker pink or a little bit different pink. And then as I go up, I think I'm going to keep on adding white until up here, maybe I just have the barest bits of really, really, really light pink. So I love mixing colors, so I really like to do this. It's a really fun thing to do anyway, if you like to mix colors like I do. This one that I did before, you can see I started with actually black, and then I just did a lot of blending and got into blue, and then into green, and then into a lighter green. So the colors that I have on this are colors that I have from my house. And obviously if you have your own acrylic paints, you don't have to use the colors in here. You can use whatever acrylic paint you have at home. So if you have some favorite colors that you want to use, go ahead and use them. Also, you got this brush, but if you have other brushes, like when I was blending here, a wider brush really worked better. So if you have a wider brush or smaller brush, if you want to do some really intricate detail, go ahead and use them. We just gave you the basics so you can do it and still have fun. All right, so I'm going to start mixing my paint and painting my different little panes here, my different little openings, and I'll show you when we're done. Okay guys, I thought I'd just show you my progress so far, kind of, I don't know, show you what I'm doing here. just so you get an idea. So I started, mixed some, oh, and you can't see it, just a bit there. Some white with a bit of red and made some pink. And I started here and painted that one here. And then as I went along, I started another one over here and just added a little bit more red as I went along. So it's a little bit more red, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, more. And this is the reddest one right here. So I just wanted to kind of show you too, I don't know what I'm doing. Basically, I'm just using the toothpick. I just dab into the red, put it in here, mix it around until I get a darker red. Then when I'm painting too, just to kind of show you guys, you want to make sure, let me get a dry brush, just a minute here, because I don't want to mess this up. I will always make sure that I start by painting away from all the tape. Again, that has to do with keeping that really, really sharp edge on it. And then I fill it in, right? So here, so I want to paint here, paint along here, and then cover it up. And also do your edges. It looks much better if you do your edges. So you start here, paint, get the corners really well, and then I fill in the rest. So this is what I've got so far. I don't know if it's going to turn out or not, but I'm going to keep on painting. It doesn't really matter, you guys, how it turns out. This is all about just being creative and having fun and letting your brain just kind of go with the flow and see what happens. It's not rocket science, and if you mess up the canvas, the world is not going to end. So it's okay to just do whatever you feel like doing. All right, I'll check back in when I've got all my paint on. Okay, guys, so it has actually been a few hours since I finished painting all my little panels, but I wanted to give it a chance to dry, make sure I liked it, and I do. I think it's looking kind of good. So as it was drying, I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to do, and I think I decided the next thing I want is to actually take off my paint. Then I'm going to use the teal and the black in my thing to do some kind of cool things with the fork. So give me just a minute. I'll take off my tape and we'll see what we've got. All right, guys, here's what it looks like with the tape off. I'm pretty happy with it. I've got a little bit of bleeding and stuff. You can see that where maybe it kind of bled through the tape a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, but all in all, I'm really happy with it. I kind of like the pink and I like the way it's looking. So I think what I'm going to do next is I am going to use some of the paints in my paint that I'm not going to use on my canvas and practice on some other paper with the fork to just see what it looks like and before I put it on the canvas so I know what the heck I'm doing. So I'll be right back. So the fork drawing was kind of a fail. I don't know if you can tell, but when I tried to draw with the fork, when I put it in my stuff and tried to draw with it, it just didn't come out, right? I was really cool, looking for these really cool wiggly lines, and it just didn't work. So I just started playing around, and what I did find out, however, is that I can take some of my paint and put a good sized blob like this, and then take my toothpick and kind of make these little star shapes almost. I don't know. Just by pulling it out. Sometimes you have to go over it twice. Anyway, so I think I'm going to do something like this on my thing. I think I'm going to make these little sun, I don't know, flowery type looking things. And then I think I'll go and use some of my round tops and make some dots. So, you know, with the Q-tips and the edge of my skewer and maybe even this big round one. Let's see what that makes. Make sure it gets good and coated. Oh, I kind of slid. Be more careful. All right, and let's just see what I can make that way. So I'm going to start working on my canvas here, and I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. All right, guys, so just wanted to show you a couple of things I kind of figured out how to do since my fork experiment didn't work. But I found some really cool things that you can do with all the different things that you use to make dots. So one of my favorite ones is to use this, my pencil tip, make a dot, and then get that to stay, maybe. Get a whole bunch of paint on a toothpick or something that makes dots, and just make dots around it. I need a little bit more paint. And then just don't pick up your, don't put any more paint on your toothpick. So you just keep on making little dots, and the dots will actually get smaller and lighter as it runs out of paint, which is kind of cool, I thought. So I'm gonna put some more paint on, and maybe I'll go here. So that's kind of fun. Another thing I did was this one here. So I used the bigger one. So I used my bamboo skewer, but you can probably, maybe I'll even try that. We're gonna use, where's my thing? There we go. I'm gonna use the end of the Q-tip. So let's try that. So put that in there. You guys see that? Get a lot of paint. And then I'm gonna go dot, 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 dot. Okay, load it up again. I'm going to go over that same dot and kind of make an S shape. Dot, dot, dot. Anyway, I think that's really cool. So those are, I think, are some of the things I'm going to use. One other thing I can show you, if I can do it, this one's a little bit harder. You take a whole bunch of paint and you just put it in a line on your page. I'm going to get a whole bunch of paint here. Hope you guys can see this. I think you can. Okay, then I'm going to take my toothpick again, and I'm just going to run it through the paint like I did over here and see what we get. So I go one way, then I'm going to go right underneath it and pull the paint the other way. Right underneath it and pull the paint the other way. You just kind of keep on going until you get this cool kind of shape, which is kind of cool too. So I think I might use some of those when I start decorating my canvas, which is my next step. So I will show you guys what it looks like when I'm all done. And my canvas is finished. I had a ton of fun with this, you guys. It was just really relaxing to just let my imagination go and see what came out. I hope you try it. Whether you pick up a kit at the library and take it home and follow along the video, or see this video and pick up your own stuff and decide to do it. I would love to see what you guys come up with when you do this. So if you could post a picture down in the comments, that would be wonderful. Also let me know what you liked and you didn't like about it. What worked for you? Did you have any epic fails? All that kind of stuff. It's always fun to share. So have a great time with this. Have a great summer. And say goodbye from Hudson Public Library.